Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good.
You're not. You're having a rough day.
No, we're good. We're good. We're fine.
Taking a deep breath, you're moving on. It's going to rain on Wednesday, you guys, and it's messing with some of our plans. And so feeling a little anxious about that. Plans not going through as they should, mostly with the house building stuff. As you guys probably have heard, we're in the process of building a house ourselves, and it's a slow journey. So the rain might detour things a little bit. So you have no room in your life for petty at this moment in time, is my guess.
Petty fights?
Petty, people being petty yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if like petty fights is the right title for this, but it is about fights. And I feel like based on my mood, petty fights is all I really have time for.
Or maybe that's it. Maybe that's all you want to do right now is bring out the petty because you're feeling not great at the moment.
Yeah, I'm kind of crabby, but we're moving on. We're good. We're fine.
All right.
But that's why, I'm going to tell a story. The reason why we are talking about fights this episode is the other night we got into a petty fight to some degree. A fight that should have never been a fight. There may have been some alcohol involved, and one person told the other person to fuck off. The other person told the other person to go to hell. And here we are. So I thought it was good to talk about fights and to reflect after those.
I don't think I like sharing that with the world.
Why? It's true, though. It happens. You can't always be rainbows and butterflies, and that only happens once a year maybe, or less. I can't even remember the last time either of us have really gone off on the other person.
That's true. Yes, definitely a moment of weakness. I wouldn't say it was petty. I think it was fueled by high emotions and sadness and overwhelm and fear. And probably also a tinge of alcohol. Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure not my proudest moment of life.
Yeah, mine neither. And in the morning.
I know. We went to bed angry. We for sure did.
I did not.
You weren't angry?
No.
Oh, well, I went to bed angry. We went to bed unresolved. How about that?
That's true. But going back to one of our earlier episodes is it all right to go to bed angry or unresolved? I mean, I think that in that instance, especially when there's alcohol involved, you can't really resolve the situation truly. What good were we going to have staying up and with the high emotions? We needed to de-escalate, in my opinion. But in the morning, I apologized for what had transpired between us.
Took me a little longer to give that back.
I got uninvited from breakfast.
Sure did.
Which I was sad about because I didn't want to be at work, but
actions have consequences.
They were my actions. I didn't do anything.
Well, sure did. Takes two to...
You were mad about a situation that I had no control over, but it's okay. We've moved on. We've resolved. We've talked about it as mature adults. And here we are.
And here we are. Still holding on to a little bit of, I don't know. I have a hard time letting things go sometimes.
Well, then why don't you jump right into the first story that I had picked out? I haven't read the story in its entirety, but the title, I feel like, is going to be very relatable for us.
All right, let's do it. Am I the asshole for refusing to cook after my boyfriend tried to critique my cooking with a literal PowerPoint presentation? Oh, man. So this happened a few days ago, and I'm still trying to process it. For context, I, 28 female, have been with my boyfriend, 30 male, for about 2 years. We live together, and I've always done most of the cooking because I genuinely enjoy it, and he claims he can't, quote, even boil water, end quote, without setting off the smoke alarm. The other night, I made one of our favorite meals, and while we were eating, he got a weird smirk on his face. He then says, I've been taking notes. I laughed, thinking he was joking, but then he said, no, really, I made a presentation. I still thought it was a joke until he got up, connected his laptop to the TV, and opened a PowerPoint titled Improving Our Home Dining Experience. I was in disbelief as he went slide by slide critiquing my dishes. Slide number 1, too much garlic. Slide number 2, pasta consistency. Slide number 3, more salt, less sass. Okay, you guys. I cannot wait to give my take on this. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I don't know. You brought out our argument and my inner unresolved feelings about that, and apparently I'm ready to lay on the sass. Okay, so here we are. The kicker was slide 8, which was just a photo of Gordon Ramsay face palming with the caption, "What he'd think." I was stunned. I told him if he had such detailed opinions, he should cook himself. He tried to backtrack, saying it was all in good fun and that he was just trying to help. But I wasn't laughing. I haven't cooked since, and now he's been living off cereal and takeout. He's sulking, saying I'm overreacting and, quote, ruining the joke. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to cook after my boyfriend presented me with a PowerPoint critiquing my cooking?
The part that I loved was when they brought up the consistency of the pasta. Because we just had chili and it was very good. But we're going through a phase with our children that they're very picky. And because they're picky, they just don't eat everything. And Amy will get to her feelings on that. But we had chili the other night that Amy made, and the consistency was much more like soup. And I just dropped a ladle in and pulled it up. And Amy looked at it and said, yeah, it's kind of watery. And I said, yeah, it is. And she got very upset with me over this comment, even though it was good chili and I didn't care about the consistency. It was great.
But he really did. Couple things for context. This was the first time I had made chili in a crock pot. So that was a little different for me. Followed the recipe. It was a little bit more watery than normally I would make it. And so, yes, I made that comment, but I don't know.
It was good.
You're supposed to be like, oh, it's not so bad or whatever, because it is what it is, right?
I hadn't even tasted it.
You didn't make it. And then when you're labeling your chili, I'm watching you with the ladle thing going and like.
That was after.
Yes, after the comment, seeping out the extra water or whatever, soup.
Still don't see a
fluid.
Problem with this.
Meanwhile, I had invited my dad over, and he also witnessed the taking of the stew part of the chili or whatever, the thicker part, and leaving the thinner part. I don't know how to describe that. And so my dad goes in and he makes himself an extra watery bowl of chili just to, quote, compensate for. And maybe that's why. Maybe because I grew up in a household where you just ate it and you smiled and you were happy for whatever was served in front of you.
I was happy. I had no complaints. It was wonderful. It tasted great. So anyways, why don't you do you want me to tell them how you're feeling about cooking in this household?
I think that they probably have gotten the gist of
because the kids don't eat Amy's food, she feels unappreciated. However, the food's great. I always eat the food. I just don't often eat the leftovers. which is true with anything, unless it's chili or lasagna leftovers. Like lasagna is better the second time around, I think.
So for cooking, I feel like I'm cooking just for myself because you will eat it the first time. And sometimes it's good, like really good. And sometimes it's just okay. And sometimes it's mostly edible. Well, I'm going to be real honest. I'm not the best cook. I try really hard when I do cook.
And I appreciate that.
My kids rarely eat what I cook. Like if I'm trying a new recipe and it's not like one of the normal average things. Like I made a delicious, what I thought, butter cup squash soup the other day.
Yeah.
And I think you had one bowl. My kids put their tongue on it and declared it the worst thing that they had ever had in their entire life.
Looked like my shirt.
It was delicious. And it was, a little spicy, a little savory, a little sweet. It was all of the good things. And so that's what I have been eating for the past week so that it doesn't go bad. But it's really frustrating when you put so much energy into something and people have critiques for you, especially if you're the only one doing it and the only one preparing it. So
you should give your take on this story then.
So she's absolutely not the asshole. I would be right there with you. I thought this episode was all just about being petty, and this is a form of petty that I would fully embrace. If someone had put so much energy and effort into making a PowerPoint presentation about why my food could be better, then I would say they have enough energy to make their own food. So I would embrace the petty personally on this one.
Yeah, all right.
Let's see what the world thinks.
Yeah.
So this is fairly new, posted 10 days ago. Not the asshole. He claims he can't even boil water without setting off the smoke alarm. If he had the time to make a PowerPoint, he has the time to learn to cook. Another comment, this. I had a boyfriend in college who was a really nice guy, but his mom did his laundry. Not let him use her machines, but actually did his laundry for him while she cooked him dinner. One time he said to me, "If we get married, you'll have to do all the ironing because I don't know how." I replied in a deadpan voice, "I'll teach you." Needless to say, he didn't like that. I was thinking, dude, I don't iron my own clothes. What makes you think I'm going to iron yours? If you're bright enough to make it into college, you can figure out how to iron something. It's not rocket science.
I agree. I enjoy cooking, so this gentleman needs to up his game. I started cooking when I was 12.
Another comment, holy shit, what a dick. If he can make a PowerPoint about all his complaints about your cooking, he can learn how to follow a recipe like a big boy. There's a lot of people who are like, who were saying, yep, I had a similar situation, and people were just, their partners were refusing to learn. The weaponized incompetence on this one is staggering. So how does he dig himself out of this hole now that she is mad? She has put so much energy into cooking all of these meals. She has been the number one meal preparer in the house, and she's decided she's not going to do it anymore because she is offended at his critiques and the way that he went about that. She did not find this joke funny. How does he fix it?
I don't know if he can fix it other than he needs to surprise her with a meal that he's cooked, or step up to the plate and write an apology of some sort, maybe. But there is an update.
Oh, where do you see the update?
It's the second story.
All right, excellent. But here's my thing. To make it up, I think that there needs to be a grand gesture, including an apology. He needs to, yes, cook a meal that he figured out how to do, and present that, but also perhaps doing some of her favorite things and then saying, hey, I am sorry about the way that I did this. Let me take some of the meals off your plate. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be a backseat driver or criticizing. That's what I would say, is he needs to make a grand gesture in order for her to entertain giving up this grudge.
Yeah, I think that she needs to explain to him that she works really hard, that it was insulting, and it's important to her, like, hey, contribute, help me cook, or be appreciative of what I am doing because I am spending the time to do that.
Don't you think, though, that he should just know that? Like, after this?
Some people are dumb.
I personally feel like she shouldn't even have to say those words because, like, how can he not know that this is completely offensive and not funny?
I'm not sure. Again, some people are dumb.
I don't know. I don't think it's like
Am
necessarily
I wrong?
her job to lay it all out. But, sometimes I am criticized for thinking that you can read my mind. So, I don't know.
I'd like to.
Here we go. Here's the update. Am I the asshole for refusing to cook after my boyfriend tried to critique my cooking? Hey, Reddit. So it's been a wild ride since I posted my original story about my now ex-boyfriend's infamous PowerPoint presentation critiquing my cooking. I can't thank you enough for all the support, laughs, and even the outrage on my behalf. Buckle up because here's the follow-up you didn't know you needed. After reading your comments and taking some time to process what happened, I decided that our relationship needed a serious talk. I sat him down to discuss how his presentation came across as not just unfunny, but pretty disrespectful. Typical mature relationship stuff. Well, what does he do? He smirks and goes, "Oh, I was prepared for this." He actually grabs his laptop, connects it to the TV again, and presents me with another PowerPoint titled How to Take a Joke, a comprehensive guide. I am not kidding. That is what the story is.
It's hilarious.
I am so glad that we know right off the bat that this is an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
I can, my jaw's on the floor. Well, okay, there's more. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting yet again. Yes, folks, he made me a whole slideshow explaining why I needed to learn how to chill out and appreciate humor. Slide 1 featured a meme of a clown putting on makeup with my name plastered all over it. Slide 2, a bullet point list titled, Why Your Overreaction is Hilarious. Slide 3 was titled, How I'm Clearly the Comedian in This Relationship. At this point, I was too stunned to speak, but then he pulled out slide 6, Things you can do while not cooking, parentheses, because you're mad. The audacity, right? It was as if he really thought he'd win me over with this next level presentation. Spoiler alert, he did not. So I did what any rational, PowerPoint-loving person would do. I made my own. I stayed up all night crafting a presentation called Why It's Time to Move On, a Farewell Guide.
I love it.
It had everything. Flowcharts mapping his incompetence in the kitchen, pie charts illustrating my happiness before and after the great presentation debacle, and my personal favorite, slide 9, a gif of Gordon Ramsay yelling, "Get out." That is pretty good. This morning, I sat him down and went through my PowerPoint with the same energy he had given me. His reaction was priceless. He started with that same smirk, but lost it somewhere around slide 4, quote, Top 10 reasons you're moving out today. By the time I got to the quote, resources for finding your own apartment slide, he was packing a bag. Now, before anyone worries, yes, he did actually leave. And no, I didn't even have to threaten him with slide 12, which was just a photo of me blocking the Wi-Fi router. So yeah, we broke up and I'm single, happy, and cooking meals for myself without any critique except my cat's judgmental stare. And to those who said I should make a, quote, breakup PowerPoint, just know your wish has been fulfilled. I still can't believe how all of this went down over the course of one single weekend, but I now feel pretty good about myself. Thanks for all of your comments and support. Well, that took quite the turn, and I'm on board with that kind of petty. I don't know. Maybe it's just the mood I'm in. I'm still a little sassy. But I think that she went above and beyond trying to have a mature, rational conversation with telling her partner how she felt.
Yeah.
Cannot believe he made that second PowerPoint.
Like, clearly they weren't in love, and she took the higher road. She was pretty mature throughout her PowerPoint, but I wish she would have took it to the next level, because oftentimes when we have fights, you and I don't like to lose a fight. And we don't fight very often, but I don't like losing. And it takes a lot for me to like let it go. But when I fight with other people, I want to win. And you got to go for the throat. You got to take them down. So she should have had, like, in that PowerPoint, there was a pie chart in there about his like cooking. The other one should have been like, you know, bad bed skills, or like really like
nailed it home.
Yeah, punched him right in the throat and win the fight and make them feel
I think she won. I think she did clearly win. I do think
she won based on, you know, her cooking and get out of the house because you suck at cooking and da-da-da-da, you're a jerk. But I think she could have been more petty and really just...
That's what you were hoping for.
Taking him really down, destroy his self-esteem. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad.
We are in a mood today.
I'm just saying, that's if I fight, like when we fight, I want to win. I don't want to let you win.
Do you win though?
Never.
No.
So
no. I mean, I think that's why taking a break really works for us. Not like taking a break, like I'm going to bed, we'll talk about this in the morning kind of a deal. Because nobody ever wins in a fight if you stay together, right? Truly, like, is there like truly a winner in a fight?
No, if you're going to stay together with that person, the best route of action is to wake up in the morning and apologize and say, hey, if you want me to drive you to breakfast, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be at work. Then when you just never get the text message to go to breakfast, you've accepted defeat.
Then you know that I just need more time to work through my very escalated feelings. Yeah. Wow. That was... I am so happy about this update. I am all about this kind of petty. Let's see. I'm going to go down to the comments here. This might be a, quote, how much can I get away with before they break up with me kind of scenario.
Maybe he was doing it on purpose.
Maybe. Was that his goal? I don't know. Now he needs a PowerPoint titled, What I Learned from My Last Relationship, so that his next partner knows he has actually learned something. I really wish that she would post her PowerPoint, though. I'd really love to see it.
I agree. There should have been a link. Come on, OP. Send us another update.
She should make a new one titled, X number of reasons why you deserve better than her ex's last name. Well, the world was there for her petty. They were not happy about his PowerPointing skills and very happy that she put him in his place in a very similar fashion. So, yeah, I'm kind of here for it.
Good. I love it. What else you got?
All right, let's move on. My boyfriend told me to pack my bags and leave. Every time we have a huge argument, he tells me to pack my bags and leave, saying he doesn't want me around anymore. This has happened several times now. For context, I tend to speak up whenever I see issues or unfairness in our personal lives. We're currently preparing for a major life decision, and we recently had a big argument because his family kept making decisions for us without consulting me. He's always been the kind of son who can't say no to his parents, even if they treat him or us unfairly. I told him I was getting frustrated with his dad's constant bossiness, and he got so angry that he wanted to break up and told me to leave. I was really surprised he did this. Again, I ended up begging him not to break up. Things eventually calmed down, and now we're talking again. How do I move on from this? It's making me depressed. So please tell me, am I the asshole for being a nagger?
So, no, I don't think she's the asshole. I think the boyfriend needs to grow up, and this is a huge red flag, in my opinion. If I was her, she shouldn't get over what transpired. She should get over him and pack her bags and truly leave, because
Time to move on.
It's just a super immature thing to do. Oh yeah, we're in a fight. Pack your bags, get out, and then to get back together. No, this isn't healthy. This isn't a healthy relationship. I don't feel like there's a lot of love or support here, and it doesn't truly feel like a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just being an asshole, and she needs to recognize that she's got to get out now, because you're going to be dealing with this type of behavior until the boyfriend like realizes that he's immature and it's not his family's relationship. It's theirs.
It sounds like it's about everything, not just about his family.
Yeah.
So that probably is something that's not going to change. I really wonder how old they are. To me, it feels like a little bit of a younger relationship, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're in their older 20s or something. But that to me feels like a very knee-jerk in a young relationship kind of response. Like, oh, you're upset with me? We'll just leave then.
Yeah.
It's not a mature, committed response in a relationship. It kind of feels like stonewalling. And so if you do continue in that relationship, I think it's only going to get worse. It's his way or the highway. That's basically what he's saying at every single turn. It's his way or the highway.
Right.
So, and that's just not a good way to communicate or argue.
Yep.
In any kind of relationship.
Feels toxic.
Feels a little toxic. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not so much petty. Toxic would probably be the better. What do the people say on this one?
Not the asshole, but girl, why are you begging to stay where you're not respected? Dude keeps throwing you out like it's a game. You deserve better.
Yep.
Exactly. Why would you want to be with someone who clearly doesn't want to be with you? The worst part is you have proven to him that he can treat you like this anytime he wants because you keep staying around. The red flags are just there. They are not just there. They are smacking you in the face.
True.
The worst part is we haven't even begun to discuss all the issues that lead you to him throwing you out. Just leave.
For the record, I would never throw you out of the house.
Thank you. Excellent.
Just for anybody that's listening still up to this point, Amy's really thrown that I brought in our really, really personal fight. Then I'm sorry that you were unprepared for that. Okay? I didn't mean to throw you for a loop, but I thought it was important that we're real people, and dumb stuff happens sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Dumb stuff happens.
Yeah. And you can fight about that dumb stuff, then move on and grow up and be better at the end of the day.
Yep.
Just like this guy could grow up and be better. Maybe they just need some time apart.
Mm-hmm. This is a classic example of gaslighting. She's already doubting herself and her perception. OP, I was you. I can't count how many times I was told to pack my things and how many times we were done. Believe me when I say he doesn't really want you to leave, but is using this to control you so you can keep your head low. Whatever issue you have, if you are faced with the end of your relationship and him throwing you out, you'll forget about it and will switch your focus to the new one. convincing him to give you one more chance. I can guarantee that once you agree with him and pack your things, it won't be long before he wants you back because you moving out is not his end goal. But for the sake of your own mental health, please listen to him, move out, and never look back. I think that was good advice.
Yeah. She needs some friends to have her back here. Where are they?
Yeah, where are the friends?
Being that we're talking about fights and petty fights, are you all caught up? And I used it's not a quote necessarily by Dave Portnoy, but are you caught up on the Brianna Chicken Fry, Zach Bryan breakup and the Dave Portnoy fight?
No, I don't think I even know what happened.
Well, Brianna Chicken Fry and Zach Bryan broke up. Zach Bryan
were they together a long time?
Yeah, for a while.
Okay.
And wanted to pay her $12 million to sign an NDA.
Okay.
And she wouldn't.
Okay.
And Dave inserted him into the fight and had Brianna's back, and they made a diss track.
Okay.
And it was really good. Smallest Man Alive. If you can find it out there, it's really good. And he basically told Zach Bryan's lawyer that if you don't pay Brianna, I'm coming for your throat. I'm going to get you, Zach. And it spiraled. And then they blocked Warner Bros. Music, blocked that song.
Okay.
And now Dave Portnoy's being, I don't know if it's being petty, but he just always in his fights, he's going to win and he takes it to the next level. And he just dropped a second diss track today.
Oh, so was that one just as good?
Almost better.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Okay.
Better
So,
nice.
but why, was he a bad person in their relationship or like, why is she?
Zach Bryan?
Yeah. Why, what is the whole issue that he's trying to cover up by bribing her with $12 million?
Yes. Yep. He was a bad person. He was, a narcissist and gaslighting her and being abusive.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's no good.
So
kind of karma then? You get what you deserve?
Yeah. I mean, the guy writes great music.
Okay.
Like he's got some good songs.
Yeah.
I probably still will listen
to him. I
know
who he is. So yeah.
But
popular.
He's being a jerk. If you have to pay somebody to keep their mouth shut, it's probably not a great look. Probably not a great dude.
There is a saying that I try to live by, and it is live your life in a way that if anybody were to speak bad of you, nobody would believe it. So I think the problem is that, if you're such a dick, people are going to know that's who you are.
Yeah.
No matter, I don't know.
So good on Dave Portnoy for being a good friend, inserting himself into that fight. She needs friends like Dave.
There you go. Bringing on the petty, huh?
Yeah.
She needs friends to make her a PowerPoint presentation that says 10 reasons why you should leave this gaslighting mofo.
A-hole.
Yeah. On to the next.
Yep.
And we're back to cooking.
Are we back to cooking?
Oh, man.
Oh.
I'm going to have
I like your cooking.
Post-traumatic stress
it's
from...
Good.
Am I the asshole for crying when my boyfriend let his best friend's wife alter the dish I made for dinner?
I don't know if that has necessarily to do with cooking. I just thought it was a weird thing to be...
I have to take a pause. You guys,
I think we need to keep that in. That was so good.
It
was actually
tried to take a
I
sip.
Spilled it earlier and there was a lot on the top.
I tried to take a sip. I missed my mouth. I spilled it all over my shirt. And I'm feeling a little discombobulated for being, I didn't know that how honest we were going to be with the world, which is okay. I am a fan of honesty. Let's get it out there. We had quite the argument. I was really upset about certain things in the world and crying, and you were trying to be supportive in your own way that I didn't want to hear. This is what happened. Matt came home after certain results were posted and I was crying, and he was like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. The world is not going to fall apart. It's going to be okay. And I was certain that the world was going to fall apart. And I didn't want to hear that it was all going to be okay because I didn't feel like it was going to be okay.
You didn't want the optimism. I understand.
I didn't. I was not ready for any optimism. I had thrown my rose-colored glasses across the room, you guys, and they broke and shattered just as much as my heart did. And so I just was not prepared for that. And so I acted out of hostility and anger, and I yelled at you, and then you yelled at me. And then I decided the best course of action for me was just to go to bed. And then
I don't know if I yelled.
Yep.
Just kind of shut the door and walked away. I yelled out into
your
the
voice.
abyss.
Yes, you yelled into the abyss, and I yelled into the abyss towards your general direction.
I was walking away when I yelled, so.
Yes, I had my back turned to you when I yelled. So either way, guys, the kids were in bed, by the way. They were sound asleep, not witness to this situation. Didn't make it any better, but anyway. So yes, I was having a lot of big feelings, a lot of strong feelings. We had plans
Feel like
to
you're
go.
Having them now.
Well, you're having me relive them a little bit. So because I feel like I need to explain myself a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's okay, right?
Yep.
So the following day, you came over, apologized. I wasn't quite ready to accept nor hear nor. I wasn't ready for anything. I was still crying. So yes, I didn't want to hear any sort of optimism quite at that point in time. So my girlfriend, Sarah, you guys all know Sarah. We had both had the day off of work strategically so that we would get breakfast that day. And she came over and we sat down on the couch and we had a chat. And I was able to work through my feelings and my emotions. And then Sarah and I went to breakfast, and I just didn't feel ready for you to come and join us. But then after that, I felt like I was in that spot, ready to move on and feel a little bit better about the situation.
Yeah.
And to regain a little sense of faith in humanity in general.
Yeah, and I moped around the office all day because I missed out on mimosas.
Yeah.
But here we are. And
we
made
are.
And we made up.
We made it. So not our most shining moment.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
I do. And I'm sorry. I don't know. I thought we were just talking about being petty. And I was like, I don't feel that was petty. I feel like that was a really big deal.
I said fights.
I know, but my brain focused on the petty.
All right. Well, read this next story because
okay,
it's a shorter episode today because we got to get the kids.
Okay. Well, I'm feeling better after unloading that. So
Good.
Thank you. Sorry for the weird vibes.
I'm glad you got that out there.
I think I'm going to feel better.
Good.
But we're still talking about cooking again, which is my weakness.
No, it's not. You're so good. You're great. You're great. It's the best food I've ever had.
You're such a liar.
Let's go.
All right. Am I the asshole for crying when my boyfriend let his best friend's wife alter the dish I made for dinner? This is a throwaway account. And so apparently she is also very affected. All right. Anyway, my boyfriend, 28 male, and I, 22 female, met at work 2 years ago. Technically, I was working part-time during undergrad and he was a customer, but after a couple of months, we started going out. I really love this man and nothing has happened on this scale before, so I'm very confused about it. My boyfriend has a very tight-knit group of friends. I'm well acquainted with them and their girlfriends. One of them, Dave, is married to Ellie. Fake names.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie is an excellent cook and often hosts dinners, and everyone brings a dessert to those dinners. I am the youngest in the group, so most times they brush off my requests for contributing or bringing a dessert. However, the last time I asked Dave and Ellie if they wanted anything extra like wine or some sweet dish for dinner, they said I could bring one of those sweet dishes I make for my boyfriend. I'm Indian, and even though I can't cook as well as my mom, I cook pretty well. I'm in a different country for studies, and I called my mom up and had her teach me properly how to make a specific Bengali sweet, which is my favorite. I had my friends taste it, and they said it was great. My boyfriend ate some and said it was excellent. Except last night, I greeted Ellie and kept the dish in the kitchen. When the food was brought out and my boyfriend told everyone I made it, I saw that someone had added cinnamon powder to the sweet. You never have the sweet with cinnamon powder. Okay. Here's another one. I want to read it differently.
I can't even do my own thing. You took it from me and it's gone.
And I do it better.
You petty bitch.
Maybe this episode is about petty.
No, I gotta keep that in there. That was a joke, people, by the way.
Okay. All right. Except last night, I greeted Ellie and kept the dish in the kitchen. When the food was brought out and my boyfriend told everyone I made it, I saw that someone had added cinnamon powder to the sweet. You never have the sweet with cinnamon powder. The dessert tasted like cinnamon and I felt horrible. Though everyone said thank you and it was good, I think my face gave it away. And my boyfriend took me aside and said that Ellie had told him that my sweet looked, quote, too white, and thought some cinnamon might bring some color into it. I don't know. I just felt awful and I started to tear up. My boyfriend then defended Ellie and said that his friends already think I'm a child and not to make a big deal of this, and we will talk about it. I told him Ellie asked him first. Couldn't he have told her, no, please don't add cinnamon to the sweet? He told me he didn't think it was a big deal and asked me to drop the topic on the way home. I didn't text him goodnight, and this morning he said he was sorry and said my crying made him feel like an awful person. I don't know. Now I think I overreacted. Am I the asshole?
I don't think he overreacted. He got what he deserved. I think it's a weird dynamic we have going on here, but to tell her, my friends already think you're a child, that's not great.
That's not okay.
I don't know what... Did we hear the age gap? I missed it.
He's 28 and she's 22.
Oh, 6 years different. I mean, that's not horrible.
No, and she was 20 when they first started dating and he was 26.
So they've been together for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
This seems weird. This is a weird fight to have.
Well, I don't think it's a weird fight to have. I think that what his friend did was really hurtful. And so perhaps he had that oversight. And I think that the girlfriends of his friends, if they are truly acting like she's a child and not an equal, like that's not okay.
That's not great.
That's not cool.
Right. Is it that big of a deal that she put something on it to spice it up? Like, it seems weird to me, but then I'm thinking like, I'm trying to put myself like, maybe they're foodies and like they wanted to like for presentation purposes, make it like spice it up, like help her out. But it's not their dish. It's somebody else's dish. She's presenting it. So weird.
She's presenting it for the
weird thing to do. It's a weird thing.
She's presenting it for the very first time. She's like, hey, I want to share this. And this is not just a dish. She's Indian. She called her mom to ask, how to prepare her favorite dessert. And she, did it that way. So not only she's sharing a piece of her culture, not just a bit of dessert. And so to like alter that, I feel like that's kind of shitting on it.
I'm kind of the asshole here for a moment. It was my bad. You're right. I agree with you.
See, I do win in all the arguments. Just kidding. We're turning this around.
It's good. I love it.
So I think that was a real jerk thing to do. And I don't blame her for tearing up in the slightest for this situation. And they have probably made her feel less than or childlike or not equal, because that is insinuating that the relationship that she has with her boyfriend is not on equal footing when it really should be. You should be treated as an equal with your partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah. But what type of, it's a Bengali dessert.
Yes.
What would that be? Bangladesh.
Yes.
What kind of dessert would it be? Like a fluff? I'm
I don't
envisioning
know.
like a fluff something.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
She doesn't specify which dessert it is, which
Okay.
Bengali dessert it is. I'm not sure. But it's one that you don't add cinnamon to. That's all I know. So, top comment, not the asshole. I'm an Indian as well, and adding cinnamon sounds crazy. She just added it without tasting, almost like she ruined it on purpose. And yeah, your boyfriend should feel bad about this. Another comment, she can't be that excellent of a cook if she adds cinnamon to random dishes, quote, for color, regardless of whether the flavor will work. I was thinking that too. I'm not a cook, but I know that cinnamon has a very distinct taste, and you can't just add it to anything.
I agree.
Yeah, weird. It's not like paprika. I think paprika you add really just for color. I don't think it really has that much of a taste.
I dare you to go get the paprika right now and try it.
I know I don't want to do it. Okay, anyway. OP should make it again and let everyone try it and tell them that's how it's supposed to taste without Ellie ruining it. Another comment. Boyfriend saying, everyone thinks you're a child, and him saying, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah, I did not like that.
Is him telling you he thinks you're a child.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, tell him you're tired of hanging out with judgmental old farts and you're going to go find people younger and cooler to be with. Please don't think this guy hung the moon.
What does that mean?
That? I know. I was like, I could see your gears turning. Means, please don't think that he is all that he is super amazing and awesome.
Gotcha.
Because he did not go out and hang the moon.
Okay.
Right?
Like put it
He's
up
not
there.
a god.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, that makes sense. At first, I was trying to figure out what sexual innuendo that was, but
No. Another comment. And why did she ask his permission to alter your dish? That is the rudest, most patronizing thing I've ever heard. OP, get away from these awful people.
Yep.
So we have a very short update.
Oh, all right.
Update. Ellie saw this post. My boyfriend texted me to see if it was me. I said yes. He said we needed to talk. For safety purposes, my best friend will be there. I don't know. I never
For
expect.
safety reasons?
I mean, you got to worry about that.
Oh, there's some other red flags we don't know about.
Yeah. But she goes on to say, I don't know. I never expected my post to blow up like this. So that's kind of wild.
All right. Have they had the chat yet? Is there another
That's
update?
it.
How many days ago was this?
24 days ago. Do you want to see if you can find it?
I feel like we have to. It's a long update, so maybe just paraphrase, maybe. But go ahead.
They had the talk. He said he needed space from the relationship. I think with the way this post blew up and what happened because of a post, I should clear some things up. I never asked if I should leave my boyfriend for this. I asked if this was an overreaction, my crying, but having thousands of people tell me this was racially charged, Ellie wanted power, my boyfriend is shitty, etc., my brain went haywire. Boyfriend called yesterday, and when I got there to his house with my best friend, Dave and Ellie were there. Ellie was crying, and Dave looked really pissed at me. My boyfriend told me to sit down, and Dave started with how could I make a post that most of the people in the dinner party would recognize and know and could shame Ellie and my boyfriend. My boyfriend was silent and wouldn't even look at me and was only shaking his head. It felt like I was a kid being scolded by my parents with my elder sibling disappointed in my actions. That is what it felt and looked like. I admit it was very spineless of me, but Dave went on for like a minute and I was just looking at my boyfriend waiting for him to defend me. I asked Ellie, why would she alter my dish after telling me to bring an Indian dish? She said she thought Indian food would be brown. This woman has more Indian friends than me, and she thinks Indian food is brown. She grew up in the UK. FFs. And I felt so defeated. The comments, my friends, and people around me telling me his friends came first to him, not me. He said he didn't think the sweet was a big deal. I told him I would never let my friend alter something he spent 3 days learning, getting people to taste it, and got his mom involved in. He saw I put a lot of effort into it, so why let her alter it? Why couldn't he ask me? Ellie started to cry and said she wasn't being racist and she wouldn't know that I put effort into it, and now she couldn't host dinners again. I said I used the fake names, so why does it matter unless she and Dave went around telling people? Boyfriend told me he didn't expect this from me. My best friend piped up that he expected that my boyfriend would have an effing spine, so I guess they were both disappointed. My now ex-boyfriend told me in front of Dave and Ellie that he needs some space. I told him to get lost. I don't know what my best friend said to him after that, considering I left my boyfriends. I kind of tripped into the metro station, so now I'm crying on my best friend's couch with an ice pack while his boyfriend keeps giving me peach schnapps and my relationship has toppled over. I wouldn't have stormed out had he looked at me once. He just looked 100% at Dave and Ellie and acted like I was the one with the problem when she caused me pain. If his friends came first when they caused me pain, where would I have been if I had decided to marry this man? So, long story short, she goes on a little bit to talk more about her feelings, but sounds like he showed up and had invited Dave and Ellie, allowed Dave and Ellie to go ahead and barrage her with...
Yeah, not a great partnership.
Berate her for a little bit. Yeah. Didn't stand up for her. And sounds like she got up and left, and I am really happy about that. I think that there were some red flags in this relationship, and it's time for her to get out. I agree. If they really liked this girl too, they would have just let it go. Like, all right, we screwed up. Yeah, they would have taken responsibility for their actions, been like, hey, and maybe like asked her and learned about it. Clearly, the internet community is like, hey, this is bullshit. Not okay. Yeah. Maybe you could take a little bit of time and have some introspection and learn from that and be like, oh, really? Like that, perhaps that wasn't her intention, right? And she didn't think that she was being an awful person. But now is the time. You're being called out. Yeah. Don't double down. Be like, hey, I'm really sorry. So that's, I don't know. Yep. I'm with you. Yeah. Those are my thoughts. She dodged a bullet. Boom. I agree. Go find someone who is going to appreciate all your sweets. Did you really Google going for the throat? Yeah. Cause I wanted to know where it came from. Because it's not just a Dave Portnoy thing, even though it's like circulating through TikTok right now like crazy, but it is like a saying. Yeah, right? And it's an expression. I wonder where this like came from. Who originated? Like, I'm going to go for their throat. I'm going to get them. Well, yeah, going for I assume that it would be like I'm going to off you because you're going through the throat, like choking and right? No? Like kill shot kind of a thing. No. What did they say? What did you learn now that I've made fun of you for Googling going for the throat? I hadn't gotten there, but I figured it originated from fighting. Because when you hit somebody in the throat, I think it's you hit them in the throat and then they go like this and then this becomes exposed and then you blast them between the eyes. And, I'm pretty sure that's at least how my brain thought of that. The internet says to exert an unrestrained aggressive effort, especially by assailing an opponent's or victim's area of greatest vulnerability. Okay. So that's where you're most vulnerable. Yeah. So going for the throat, going for where they're most vulnerable. Yeah, and just crushing them. Yeah. to engage in an aggressive attack against someone without holding back or showing any mercy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
doesn't say where it originated. I hadn't got that far, but anyways, on that note, we got to get the kids today. But I think, if you do have a fight with somebody you love, try not to be petty and try not to go for the throat, even if you really want to win. It's probably best to let things simmer down, be introspective, and just apologize, even if you were wrong and can't come to an agreement at that time. It's okay to let the other person think they won. And on that note, thank you for listening.
He's being funny.
Please
Matt's
be sure.
being funny.
Please be sure.
Be sincere in your apologies.
Yeah.
Because your significant other might not be as cool as me and be able to see through your jokes, sarcasm.
Jokes. Yes.
I recommend not making PowerPoint presentations, no matter how terrible the food is. This is the correct response. Yeah, so good. Thank you so much for cooking. That is the only correct response. Even if it is a little questionable. If it's edible, you just eat it. Also, try not to be petty. Try not to say hurtful things. Try not to name call. We are all in this together. Remember that you love your husband or your wife or your partner.
Yeah. Do you know that I oftentimes try to shut this episode down and you just keep on going?
Because it needs more of a wrap up.
I love you.
I love you too.
Please be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.